producers that used to be DJs that really was vocal in rocking crowds in this area, whatnot, they end up becoming some of the best producers because they understand the concept of what's going to move the crowd, what's going to entice the listener. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
everything else beyond. You know what I mean?
That's right, man. They didn't let this thing fall apart.
No, they didn't let it fall apart. They were the glue for sure, man. Things fall apart, man. We are back.
Back like heart attack, sad to say. It's around. I am Frank 5D, the anomaly sworn solemnly, high snobbity, counselor.
Man, Council Polly Rob, man, workload, local astronauts. That's all you need to know.
Always. Yeah, we got album talk today. A couple, following the recent Versus massacre, the game went ahead and dropped a surprise. Well, to a lot of people, it wasn't a surprise that he was dropping, but I don't think anybody knew it was going to be a documentary.
Right. Documentary 3. I mean, the documentary series is a real big thing for the game. You know what I'm saying? Like he dropped those ever so often, but he drops those projects with a purpose of maintaining the quality and the level of music from the first one. You know what I mean? And then also bringing something new to the table as well. I was a little bit shocked that he named it the documentary. When I listened to the album, I understood why. It made sense.
Same thing, definitely. And because he's done all these things and at one time has held the West Coast up at a certain point in time.
Right.
He's pretty much a heel in hip hop nowadays. And I don't know if it should have been a documentary. Like you said, I heard the album and I understood the production, of course, was up to par. It was in the same vein, but how much does it hold up to 1 and 2?
I mean, in my opinion, I feel like if he would have consolidated the project, because it's like 24 records. If he would have consolidated to about 14 to 15 records, he would have had a documentary, like an official documentary 3. I'm not saying that this is not, this doesn't live up to it. I'm saying the energy, the concepts, the approach of how the documentary series is. Yeah. If he would have took off a lot of the fun type of records, you know what I mean? Even though I love it a part of the project, but if he would have took off a lot of the fun style records, it would have been an official documentary 3. Some of the concepts on the album are definitely documentary style concepts.
Yeah. There were a few skips on it, definitely. I think. And again, it wasn't the same vein when you look at the type of records that were on there. I personally like best the records where he didn't have any features listed. There was pretty much someone on production with every track, of course. And then a lot of the features that were on there were basically just hooks, like
right,
like the one that he started out with, the game record.
Right.
The name is skipping my mind. The Drake record, my bad.
No breaks.
Right. And he said just earlier today, I was looking. He said something like that was the 3rd different version of the record, and the first 2 were just a little bit too destructive for the West or too disrespectful.
Let's just say what he wanted to say. The first version was a version where either he was dissing or Drake was dissing. Let's get it out the way. That happened on No Breaks. They scaled it down for whatever reason. That's up to him to explain. But I'm pretty sure they scaled it down because even if you listen to the song, the constant shout outs to I got a Draco, rolling with Drake, a lot of those things can only be backed by something derogatory towards Doc. You know what I'm saying? Now, can I prove this? No. But by that was kind of confirmation for me when he said this is the 3rd version. Now I was like, yeah, you definitely, it was shots being thrown. Whether it was from him or Drake, it was shots being thrown. Because if you listen to the current version now, is Drake really on it?
Right.
Does he say anything? Like, really? So now it just turned into from a feature to a publicity stunt type of thing. You know what I mean? So, which listen, I'm okay with it because I feel like at some point in time, the game and Kendrick will get back to, you know, just having conversations together. I don't think it's even that deep. They'll come back to that. But to add on to what you're saying about the features, I like more of the records where he had no features. Like having somebody on there for like textures and things like that, I like that a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Like the record LA Monster, where he got Lip Poppy doing the hook. Shout out to Lip Poppy. He really be working, man. He really be working. He be in the right places at the right time. And he put his work in. When he's in the studio, like I've had the pleasure of working with him on a record in the studio, he's coming there to work.
Right.
And I like that. And I feel like that's the reason why he made this album, I think like 2 or 3 times he's on his documentary 3 album. Yep. So I love that. You know what I'm saying?
We got an interview coming up with Lit on the Rapsody. Nice. For that coming up,
fire.
Been tuned with Lit for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the other features, the game. The Kanye feature. I felt like I felt like Game was on that. I felt like Kanye was on that feature to kind of like just because one of them he just redid. You're such a I love it. He just redid it.
Yeah.
So it's like just throw his name on there. You know what I mean? The other one it was okay. I really felt like the artists that were really grinding and doing their thing on the West Coast, they put up the best features aside of Black Thought and Marsha Ambrosia. You know what I mean? Like, RJ did his thing. You know what I'm saying? YG did his thing. There was a lot of cats that Problem saying he did his thing as well. And I love that. And I think that also adds to the storyline of the game making this a documentary 3, because it's a slight shift in the energy of the project. Now it's like, no, I'm going to do what I've been doing since documentary 1, which is put on. I put the West Coast on my back with the first one. The second one, I added necessary features. I also was continuing the energy of me being a legend as Game, the lyricist and the elite lyricist. This one is now like, no, I'm going to continue to put on new artists that need to be heard. I'm going to continue to do what I do as far as lyricism. And the number one question that this whole documentary 3 is based on is, how dare you? That's the question that the game is asking everybody else who's listening. How dare you not put me at the top of the elite greats of lyricism? How dare you question my work ethic and my loyalty to the West Coast? How dare you, Game, ask that? Because everybody knows you always find a way to cheddar bob yourself. True, but that still, in my opinion, that still don't take away from what you've done. Like these tabloids and these headlines and all the weird stuff that people may believe that he does, which he does do it a lot. It still doesn't take away from when you have the conversation of the greatest West Coast artists, some of the greatest lyricists, you gotta put his name in there. And I want to be the first to say, I apologize. I apologize for not putting your name in the conversation anytime I have a conversation about great lyricists or great West Coast artists. Like I can admit that I have not put his name in there, and maybe because half of it is I don't listen to his music as much, because when I have my favorites, I have my favorites just by default. When I like an album or I like a project, it's hard to get me off that project and listening to something else. But he's definitely in that conversation, and we need to move as such for sure.
Yeah, most agreed for sure. I don't look at this. This is easily let me not say the worst, but my least favorite documentary. Part 1 is a classic. Part 2,
sure,
is kind of right up there. I don't think it lands in classic territory though. This one kind of just seems like let's capitalize off the verses that we just had. My name is out there. Let me drop something and let me try and make a splash with it. Hence the documentary 3, because this could have easily been something else and not a documentary. And what why is that? What is with the trend of waiting so many years between, like, doing a series? The part one came out in what, 2005, 2004,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
The next one was what, 2015, 2016, something like that. And now we get another documentary in 2026.
I mean, for me, let me just quickly answer that. I feel like it's a little bit more difficult than people realize. Like, you got to remember, as fans, we are all very hard critics as fans. Yes. There's no way you can redo Into the 36 Chambers Part 2. There's no way you can redo Doggy Style version 2. You can't do it. Dre got away with doing Chronic 2001 because we was all prepared to go hammer if it didn't work out.
He had a lot of help from his friends, for sure.
Right. It's much more difficult to do a series than people realize, especially if the first one is a monster. The documentary is a monster. So in my opinion, in Game's eyes, it's not necessarily about waiting a certain amount of time before you do another series. It's just basically like, if I feel it, let's call it that and let's move forward. But they're not going to deliberately sit back and say, hey, I need to make a documentary part 3, part 4, because that's probably the worst way you get behind the curve of actually making another classic, is if you're trying to go ahead and make it. If you listen to a lot of these records, I feel like a lot of these records are in certain hard drives. He's recording a bunch of records. It's in certain hard drives. And he's like, you know what? These particular records sound like the documentary. Let's go ahead and take these. And then let's add to, because that's another thing, adding to the series legacy. What are you going to add to it? Are you going to do the same records you've been doing? Or are you going to add another element to it? And I felt like with those up-tempo, upbeat records, a lot of the West Coast style records, he was adding to the documentary series. And I feel like in due time, we'll figure out if that worked for the series or not. I think it's too early to tell.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm always get excited about a Black Thought verse. With that it's called I Won't Be Afraid. It's probably my favorite record on the project. It's got that Sade, Won't Be Afraid. That Sade sample.
Come on, man, you know that. Anytime you sample Sade, you already hit the bar. You hit the level already. The production was stellar. You know what I'm saying? Cool and Dre, Mike and Keys, all the producers, they did their thing. They did not come short at all. I gotta listen to that Black Thought record again, because I didn't give it justice because I was doing something when the album was playing. So by the time it got to like 18 to 20 or whatnot,
it's the second to last record, I believe.
Right,
exactly. Like 24 songs,
Right. So I got to listen to it again, like I did the Game Recognized Game. That record, that last record, is the best record on the whole album.
Yeah.
It's the best record on the whole album. It's I think for the, I'm not gonna say the first time, but I think it's one of those rare records where we actually got a chance to look into Game and how he really feels about the things that he's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Good and bad. Like,
that's one of the reasons why I like the records with just him, because he seems to get the most vulnerable, and he seems to open up, like, as an MC when he doesn't have anybody else to mimic, because that's another thing with the ones with features. He seems to get in everybody's bag way too much. Like, he starts to emulate them, and some Game might be the best impersonator that we have in rap, for real. When it comes to when it comes to spitting other people's styles, and he even says it, like, getting that when he was talking at the album release party. He's talking about he can't get X on the phone or Y on the phone to talk. But yeah, he said something like, you can't get me when I'm in that bag. I'll dissect that bag and take it apart, even with your own style. He said that. And listening to the album, you hear that for sure. Like the joint with E40. Like one of the joints.
Lil Wayne. He smoked Lil Wayne on that record. I'm sorry.
Did he smoke Lil Wayne?
He smoked Lil Wayne on that record, bro.
I think it feels like he kind of does that because he don't want that. He got smoked talk. So he just gets way into your bag, and you can barely tell who's rapping it. You know, if it wasn't for the voice.
That's true, but you also got to remember, like, well, for me, and it might be different for everybody. When I listen to that record, when Lil Wayne gets off, he's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty dope. But I don't start getting live and really getting into it until Game comes on that song. He take it to the next level. Now, the reason why I say Smoked is because I really started paying attention when Game got there. And I ran that record back, and it happened again. I think that Game emulates certain rappers not out of malice. He's doing it because he respects these artists to the utmost.
Yeah.
He feels like for me to mimic you means that I highly respect what you deliver for the culture. That's
my
only problem is
form of flattery, whatnot.
Exactly. My only gripe with that is do it on another song when they're not on it and pay homage. Because you know who's great at doing that? Ad-Libber. Ad-Libber is great at that. Ad-Libber from the whole Virginia card. You know what I'm saying? He's a great songwriter, but he's also great at taking a particular flavor or style. Like he'll take a Mace style or take like another different style, and he'll make a whole song out of that flavor, and it'll be unique. So instead of having Mace on the song, he'll pay homage by emulating that style in a certain element. That's what I want Game to do. But I mean, he's an elite lyricist. It don't matter how many styles he take. His original style is just as deadly as him emulating anybody. You know what I'm saying? So
except for that Party Next Door shit, that shit was whack.
Okay.
Party at Games.
Let's not. I wasn't even gonna bring that record up because we all know that was Drake alley-oop. Hey man, just go ahead and just knock this out. Do it your way, your flavor, and he did exactly what Drake would have did on the song. Hey, somebody might like it. I'm not here to judge that record. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to talk about the ones that I like.
Judge it. That's just whack. I'll be right here to judge it.
Right.
But yeah,
but that's what I mean. Sorry to cut you off, but that's what I mean by consolidating. That record could have been somewhere else. Other records, like even the E40 record, even though I like that record, I think it should have been on another project or just put out loosely with E40. Like that's what I mean by consolidating.
Chop them records off and then throw in deluxe up with 5 of them records that was on there. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. I really did like the Leon Thomas record. Most definitely.
That one was dope. I mean, the fact that they let Leon Thomas do what he's supposed to do over the first half of the record, you got to let him cook. You want to get a Grammy, you want to get a high value record, just let him cook and you come in. That's also a great level of, in my opinion, production. Like across the whole album, you already knew it was going to get you were going to get high value lyrics from Game. You were going to get hook, verse. You're going to get some of it where it's like a 32-bar verse. By the time you got to Leon Thomas's song, they switched it up. Hey man, Leon, do your thing for half the record and then let Game come in and close it off and make it happen. That's cool because across the entire album, you're getting different elements. You're getting different feels of the music, which is a good strategy when you're working on the album production. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. There's a the one that I think really sums up the entire project, and I guess sums up the Game's persona in this day and age, in the sign of the times is Love Me, You're Gonna Love Me, where you get the girl talking on there. I believe him. I really believe that record when he's talking about why don't I get the love that I've done all this and X, Y, and Z for the game, and I think he's a bit delusional. Like nobody doesn't give him love. Again, he just always shoots himself in the foot with all his antics, and that's why people want to stray away.
I don't believe that. I believe that they do. They don't put him in a conversation. Let's be real. They don't put him in the conversation.
The conversation with the people who he's talking about. Why does Game belong in the conversation with Dot?
No, he definitely belongs in that conversation. Some of the best West Coast artists in the past 20 years He's probably number 2. He's probably no. I can. He's number 2. You can't say he's not. In the past 20 years, I mean, if you want to put Snoop before him, that's cool. But the same way they revere Snoop for everything he's done across past 30, 35 years, we need to congratulate Game the same way. Even if you do, I mean, Snoop is not away from him doing something crazy. People was on his head about the Trump situation. People was on his head about things that he spoke about that he didn't have any inkling of understanding. Everybody's done it. The only person who has not shot themselves in the foot during their career is probably K-Dot. So why are we not putting Game in those same top 5, top 3 conversations? I would do that.
Maybe because he continuously does it. Like every time we hear about Game, it's rarely like we have to have this conversation about how good his album is or is not. But right. Everybody is just talking about how he's dissing Dot, which I really don't even see that much. Everybody's talking about how Ye did more for him in his whole career than Dre did. When he said
that was crazy. That was crazy. But once again, let's take Kanye for instance. I don't care what Kanye has done, and Kanye has done some of the unthinkable. When we talk about some of the best music, best artistry, best production, we never exclude Kanye. Never. Not one time.
But the Game is never even brought up.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The Game is never brought up. Like I said, to my fault. Like when we talk about the most elite rappers on the West or even in general, I never think of Game, and that's my fault because he is definitely that. I mean, you got to keep in mind, he is the person who took on the most notorious rap group and artist ever, probably ever. 50 Cent was not to be messed with in that time. That was prime 50 Cent with his goons, and they going after everything. I'm not just music. I'm talking about real shootouts, real fights, real meetups and talking trash. And Game was a part of all of it. And he still got in that booth and he destroyed, everybody knows, he destroyed G-Unit lyrically. You can't, it's hard to do anything else when they got millions of dollars in 50 is. But when it came to lyrics, when it came to mixtapes, it was 3 or 4 artists on one side with G-Unit making tapes that one verse a piece per song. Game was doing 130 bars per song, taking out everybody, and it was all refreshing. We got to put him in the conversation. That's including hit records. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
That's one of those reasons why I really can't feel or get on the side of him actually dissing Dot on this album, because I've heard Game diss people, and right. he don't hold his tongue. He goes at them. He don't do none of that sub shit. So if he is dissing Dot on this album, it's whack, because that ain't how you go at people. That ain't how he goes.
I believe that. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. Like that. See, that part right there, I don't condone, and I think that they eventually, when they have the conversation, just get everything out that y'all want to get out. What I'm saying is, and keep in mind, I do believe what you're saying in terms of he does shoot himself in the foot, so it's hard to put somebody in there. But I'm saying that he is in there. You know what I mean? That's equivalent to all the geniuses that we've accompanied and been a part of this whole time. Sometimes, hey man, Michael Jackson bleached his face. When you talk about the greatest to ever do it, that bleaching, getting a whole amusement park in your house, none of that stuff is going to stop us from saying that Mike is the greatest. That's all I'm saying. Keep him in the conversation. If it's a hip hop conversation, keep him there. If it's a conversation about people doing weird things on social media, and last point I'll make, because it just popped in my head. That is the thing that I feel like it can hurt our hip hop culture. is that all of us believing that if somebody do something weird in media, we have the right to take away or demean or not mention when it comes to talking about what really happened in hip hop, like the real shit, the good music, the good energy, the good battles. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it doesn't take away. It does take away from you as being someone that we can fully represent all the time publicly, and accolades. You know how people are. They take away stuff because they feel like publicly you might do some bullshit. But in our conversation, I'm talking about, this is our hip hop, all of us. We need to continue to say the names of the people who have grown to really put on for what we do. And we don't take that away from them, because country don't take it away from nobody. Pop music don't take it away from nobody. Rock music don't take it away from nobody, except taking it away from us, of course. You know the story. You know what I mean? So I feel like Game need to be in there. Put him in the conversation at least, because he deserves to be.
Yeah, again, absolutely agreed. And I put him in there personally when we are talking about West Coast artists specifically. Right. If that conversation is centered anywhere else and I'm a part of it, I don't mention Game. I definitely don't. and I guess that's probably due to my own personal preferences. I don't know, because I wouldn't put anything on him that I don't bring him up. Because again, I know he's an elite level lyricist. He definitely always does his thing.
Right.
He says this on the record, The Pen. I forget the Pen is
another great record.
Again, but also, Boom Boom and Footy, that's what he talks about. He raised the boogeyman, and people automatically pointing fingers like, oh, he's definitely talking about him. He's more of a trickster than an idiot, right. Of course. Right. I definitely know that. So,
but part of that is true. If he's talking about Raise in terms of like a Dot looking at what he's done for the West and wanting to emulate a part of that, that is true. That is 100% true. If it's in a context of I just fully raised him as a person or who he is, then no. You know what I'm saying? But everybody knows the context of what you're talking about. But I do agree that mentioning Dot consistently without it being some type of heartfelt record, like it just seemed like you're just throwing shots or mentioning him for whatever public reason. At the end of the day, I feel like we're never going to get a version of Game that's just going to be politically correct. Some of our best artists, we don't get that. Even Dot, he's never going to be politically correct. Are there times where we feel like he should come speak up? He should come be outside? No. He's not doing it. No. So, in my opinion, I feel like they come from the same energy of, I really feel away. Like even with Dot really be feeling away. We've all seen it through the history. You say something he don't like, he's finna take it to the grave. That's the reason why we got this battle. This battle between Dot and Kendrick was so great. I'm sorry, Dot and Drake was so great. It's because Dot be taking shit literally. Game do the same thing. So I don't, for me, and we could all talk about this phone call that he didn't get, but we know what it is. We've all been in that situation where somebody we really fuck with, they don't pick up the phone. We feel away. That don't mean they're wrong or I'm wrong. It just means I feel away. And I just want to get on the phone and tell my guy, I felt the way, but I hear your voice. We good. It's really like that. It'd be like that for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's all. That's all I say. I just feel like, don't take away from him because of the antics, because the antics is a part of who he is, but it's also a part of how social media consumes a lot of this crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. I focus on the content. I focus on the music. I think this album, I can really pick a good 10 records off this album and put it in my playlist. And I got a whole new album. You know, I got a whole new Documentary 3 album. Put it on my playlist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like you said, that social media aspect of everybody projecting, that's corny as fuck. And
right.
It's just as corny as the Game himself. the Game's corny. But what I find funny is that all corny rappers are dope. Like,
for sure.
You wouldn't be even mentioning them like if they weren't dope. If they whack, they just whack. They not corny. Right. They just whack. So yeah, there's something about corny rappers being dope.
Take the too cool for school niggas. All of the people that we know that's too cool for school, they never do things that's groundbreaking. Not all the time. Just to be honest. One reason, and I'm going to say this, I'm probably going to get a lot of blowback for this, but I got to say it. Sometimes that's the problem with Inglewood artists. Artists from Inglewood, California, is that they the coolest niggas ever. They the coolest. So they don't do things that's out of the norm or like super different. It takes the weird ones to step out of line and do something crazy. I'm not naming no Inglewood artists in particular. I love them. These are my guys. I love them. But it's real because a lot of Inglewood artists are the ones who get their hair cut, the ones who look fly, dress fly, the ones who put on the show, the ones who walk in the door at 12 o'clock to come say what up to everybody and disappear. Like, these are the ones. So a lot of times creatively, when they get in the studio, they're going to do the things that work. They're going to do the things that feel like it's just, okay, this is what I'm going to do. A lot of times they don't do the things that may be, hey, this is different, but I'm going to go ahead and try that. There's a couple of artists who do that. We all know who they are. I ain't got to say no names. It's not about that. But I'm saying that from Inglewood, California, and a lot of other cities, a lot of other places, they be too cool for school. A lot of the weird artists is the ones who make things groundbreaking. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the innovators.
The innovator, come on, man. As soon as you do something that's different and out of the norm, is when you actually give yourself the biggest chance possible. And as I'm saying this, I think about myself as well. Some of the beats and some of the productions that I've created that I think may not work, them just be working. They be like, oh, that's fire, that's unique. I haven't heard that before. You know what I mean? That's what it's about.
I've always considered you a trailblazer in these areas, man.
Yeah,
straight up and down.
Thank you. And then there's also been times where it's like, dude, I heard that before. Rob, do something new. I heard that before. I went through that stage too. And will continue to go through that stage because it's all about constantly evolving. And like I said, I'm not saying that these too cool for school artists or creators or producers, I'm not saying that they're not necessary because, yes, we need the ones to do what they've been doing for whatever the time being. I'm saying that a lot of our greats, a lot of our true greats, any industry, anything, they're the ones who think outside the box, to do the things that are quote unquote weird in the moment, but end up being trailblazing and iconic eventually when the world figures it out. And that's what I'm about. I'm about the world figuring it out later.
That's what's up, man. And you will be talking about one of those coming up after intermission.
Yeah, let's go.
You know what we got?
You already know. Record of the day. Let's get to it.
Record of the day, people. This is where we choose one record from our collection. We'll probably Rob picks a number from 1 through 10, and we let me shuffle real quick, and then we'll talk about this joint. I got as we've been going through this, the choices have been getting more and more diverse. We're still on classic albums. What is your choice, sir?
4. Number 4.
1, 2, 3. Number 4 is one whose name has been coming up with one of these trials that's been going on. It's not so much about him. You know, a lot of people, actually, I heard the conversation not too long ago. A lot of people don't consider this a classic album. I do. And there are for a couple different reasons. I guess we'll break them down as we go through. God, this cover is so busted. We have the Notorious B.I.G. Life After.
Instant classic. What y'all mean? That's a classic.
Yeah, a lot of people have an unpopular opinion that this is not a classic album. Again, I beg to differ. And for one, I guess it's because we didn't get a whole lot of, tangible music from this guy. This was only his second studio album in his very short career. And it was full of bangers. Somebody's got to die.
Bangers.
Hypnotized was the joint. What were we in the 10th, 11th grade when this came out or something? Just after he passed away, you know, unceremoniously. Fucking You Tonight with R. Kelly before his whole thing. The Lock's Last Day. I Love the Dough with Jay-Z. What's beef? Beef is when two enemies start to creep.
Dude.
Man, more money, more problems. Niggas bleed just like us. I got a story to tell where he's talking about the
Knicks player. Yep.
Man, 10 Crack Commandments. Player. Sky's the Limit was a single off of here. They had the video with little kids in it.
Very great record.
Very great album. Executive producer Sean Puffy Combs for Bad Boy Entertainment. Assistant executive producer Mark Pitts. Yeah, not enough to say about this one right here. It was a double LP. This was an original copy. It came from that collection that I from the part of my collection that I acquired about 10 years ago. I've been collecting forever, but about 10 years ago, I got a good amount of records from somebody who didn't want them anymore. Go. Your Life After Death.
Man, you know, one thing I'll say is if there was a limited amount of albums I can put, you know, I mean, we talk about top 5 albums ever, top 10 albums ever. If this is a top 10 list, I would take out Ready to Die and I will put in Life After Death. Let me explain why. That record, and just really hear what I'm saying. That record is complete. It is a record that is complete with every particular style you want to be on an album from you being an artist. Every type of production that you would want to hear on an album, the correct features that need to be on there, the stories that you want to tell, like on a particular album, the stories you want to tell, it is a complete album. He did it in 2 discs. From the time you start off at the top, the first line of the whole album, I'm sitting back here dreaming about Bentleys and coupes and try to sell records like Snoop, when Snoop was the biggest of ever. What I'm saying is there's very few albums in let's just say in my list that can completely cover everything that the entire industry is about all in one whop. From the R&B connections to the elite lyricism to the storytelling to the talking about the girls to the rise and fall of what you do, Sky's the Limit, all the way down to people hating on you, you're nobody when somebody kills you. Like it's a complete album. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna get that. I don't think we're gonna ever get that in a very, very long time, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And that's the second album. Keep in mind, that's not his third or fourth, where it's the coming of age and it's all coming together. That is the second album.
Sophomore effort.
We would have been
favorite record. Favorite song on it.
Oh, favorite record. It's between Kicking the Door and probably the record with RZA. What's the record with RZA? Long Kiss Goodnight. Long Kiss Goodnight.
I make your mouthpiece so beast like Della Reese.
Come on, man. Come on. That did it right there. You know what I mean? And then also I'll add this. He also did continuation records, not in terms of story, but continuation records from the first album. Like, you know, it was very hard to remake a Juicy or remake a like Juicy Sky's the Limit. Another one. He created that. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable Kick in the Door.
Kick in the Door.
He did it again. You know what I'm saying? Machine Gun Funk. No, I'm sorry. What's the Machine Gun Funk, the robbery joint. I got a story to tell. Yeah. Oh, yeah, give me the loot. Yeah, give me the loot. I got a story to tell. Continuation of that. You know what I'm saying? Suicidal Thoughts. You're nobody till somebody kills you. Like he gave you the same concept style of a record without redoing the record completely.
Right.
These are things is what makes Biggie one of the greatest. And And I understand people who actually, you know, have arguments and put him up there, even though he has 2 albums. I agree, because that album is fully complete. I can listen to that front to back.
Most definitely, man. 1997, Bad Boy Records. Record of the day. Life After Death by the Notorious B.I.G. Y'all check this one out. If you haven't heard it, it's definitely one of those ones to get back. You know, because we do this record of the day, and we talk about records. A lot of people who watch us weren't even born when these things were released. Like, so you know, it is worth y'all looking at this in this present day and age. Go back and check out these gems that we're dropping here on Record of the Day.
Right. Oh, last thing, I forgot Hypnotized. Like, you go from One More Chance and Juicy and Big Papa and Hypnotized. Come on, man, you get better.
Right.
It would have been.
They said it was like the most expensive music video at the time, hip hop music video at the time. But yeah, I think that was overstepped by Triumph, Wu-Tang by Triumph.
Wu-Tang,
not too long after this, just right after that. Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind, it would have been terrifying for us to hear Biggie's 3rd album and not recreate everything that these artists got going. Like, if he was alive enough to create a 3rd album, it would have been terrifying.
That is very interesting, because how much did this joint influence after it?
Come on, man.
How much of the rhymes that were on this album ended up in Jay-Z's next few albums?
Yeah.
Like, how many of the styles and the themes, like, perverse, just oozed its way through hip hop from this joint here. Like, a lot of people don't know how influential this album was. That's why
and then last thing I'll say, I think that is one of the best produced and executive produced projects of all time. When you look at the collection of records, like, there were, no matter what you want to say about Puff at this moment, back then, he was in there saying, hey, you need a record like this. Hey, you need a record like that. Hey, why don't you tell these stories? Because you got a lot of these stories. Why don't you go ahead and tell these stories? Or, hey, I got somebody that can do the hook. I got Angela Winbush. I'm gonna put on I Love the Dough. Biggie's not making
knowing the hooks to take from the 70s, that in the 80s, knowing those exact hooks, or those exact samples to use. Like, the first time I heard More Money, More Problems, I was what? Like, oh, he flipped the Diana Ross. Oh God, like, I knew that back then.
Crazy.
I was like, oh yes, this is that one.
Then even that record slewed the next 5 years of Bad Boy records. You're getting the Mace, you're getting the Harlem World, you're getting all the way down to Black Rob. Look at how cohesive Black Rob's first album was. It feels like Life After Death. You know what I mean? The storytelling, the certain type of records where you lyrically barring it down, the same features, some of the same elements.
What was my that
record?
I love you, baby.
Come on.
Yeah, it's definitely feels like this joint right here.
Sure. When he did that one, the record Jasmine, that sound like I got a story to tell. He actually even mentions the Room 112 on What's Beef on that record.
Well, yeah, he did.
He mentions that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Classic album, bro.
Once again, man, you know how to pick them out of the stack. Record of the day, y'all. Go check that out. And definitely check out what we moving on to, because I believe it's another classic album, instant classic that we have here. Our girl Rapsody.
Say it.
Back. She's dropped it. God's got an Afro and gold hoops. What an amazing project from such an amazing
fire
artist. We just spent half an hour talking about the documentary 3. I could go on about this one for about 3 hours.
It is one of those ones.
Man, this lady doesn't waste a thing when it comes to conceptual expression and execution at the highest level that we've seen at a long time.
Right.
We love you, Rap.
We love you.
We love you,
Listen, Rap. For me, 10 out of 10. Let me explain why. First off, when I listened to the album the first time, I instantly got the chills because it feels like D'Angelo Voodoo. It feels like Baduism. It feels like any Roots album you want to pick.
Yes.
And then it also feels like Rapsody's first two albums.
Yes.
You just put a collection of greatness and energy into the album. And then listening to her interviews, she said, I went to Johannesburg. I felt it in my soul. I went to Johannesburg to work on this album. Even though she got she got 4 records done there, but still the energy when she came back, the energy was still there. And then when I listened to it the first time, I loved it. I think I gave it like an 8.5 out of 10. But then I listened to it again after she explained the concept of the official album, like, you know, because we all had a speculation. Of course, the energy was, you know, God got an afro, so it's like, yo, it's in the light of everybody. But then she went into the deep thought of it, and she was like, no, she was like, I picture my God as a reflection of me. Like, God got an afro and gold hoops. So it's like, no, she or he, however you want to take it, is a reflection of who I am and what I bring to the table. That doesn't negate from anybody else's interpretation. That just means that our God is closer to us than we realize. He gives us exactly what we need. So I'm like, oh, listen to it again. And then when I listen to it again,
he looks just like you. You are in his image. Continue.
Exactly. So then I listen to it again, and then I start to understand the Black Love record. I start to understand the Joyful record. I start to understand the because now I'm listening to it through the lens of her concept. And then I was like, oh, these are one of them. This is a 10 out of 10, first off. Then secondly, the same way how Voodoo, what it did to me, the same way how a lot of other records where on first listen, you're going to enjoy it. But after a while, when you listen to it, it's going to become a part of your life. It's going to become a part of your experiences and the things that you go through. I actually listened to this while I was cleaning my house about 2-3 times. You know what I'm saying? I listened to it when, you know, earlier when I was at Starbucks just doing my paperwork. It's going to become a part of your memories. And I think that although, and I'll say this, although the other 3 albums has more production that's more in your face and punching, I think this is the best cohesive album that if she was to do a concert, private setting, it'll all come together. The right musicians, the right energy, the right features. The fact that she got Malice on Black Love is just chef's kiss.
It feels like peak Rapsody, honestly. It does feel like peak Rapsody. And Malice is the only MC besides her who's on the album. Interesting that she said that she sent one of my favorite joints on there to Eminem, but it just didn't align. She said that was the only other person that she felt right to be on the project besides Malice was Eminem, and she sent it to him, and she said that you know it was an evolving process, but it just didn't, you know, fit out with the time.
It worked out with Malice for sure.
Yes, most definitely. She would have rather had him on there, but and also like the projects in the past, those classic projects that you compared it to, most definitely right in that line. I like you know, the spoken word elements, like it's both ahead of its time and, like, you know, a blast from the past, like exactly like you're saying, and it sounds like exactly where hip-hop could carve a path to, but it also would have been right at home in the Soulquarian era, you know.
Exactly.
I fucking love Rapsody, dude.
She's fire. She also mentioned in the concept of building the album, she built it as if the thing she was saying was banned. The project is written and produced with the concept of this is something that we have to sneak in order to get off. Like, imagine if the things that she was saying, the truth that she was telling was banned. That's how she approached the album, which I think is a continuation of the clips putting that tag in that album. What was the tag that the clips put in there? I forgot the tag, but
this is inappropriate.
right, this is inappropriate music.
Uh,
So she actually added this content is banned. So she added those in between certain parts of the album, especially in the intro and outro. I love that because when you come from, I mean, we've been living it for so long, like having to do things without the acceptance of the masses. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And now it even further excites me to say that she will win a Grammy from this project. I
I
think she took,
honestly, yeah, I believe
yeah,
so. It's
I
that
think
good.
she, yeah, I think she took the energy from winning a Grammy with Erica Badu, and she just, hey, let's work on all these type of joints. Not, it don't sonically sound the same, but it feels that way.
It's
It
the formula.
feels like that, right?
She. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lock in on your formula. And you know what? It's funny because I'll say this: I now gotta have this conversation with one of my guys. I'm gonna call him probably tomorrow, or whatnot, because we had a conversation about Rhapsody before. This is before Please Don't Cry. This is even before Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some things that was said, not out of any bad negativity, but it was like there were some things said based on the position she was in, and she was constantly trying to find herself and do certain things. And we had a conversation about that. And let's just say that one side was very positive about her trajectory of where she was going to go. The other side was not so much, even though it wasn't hate at all. But I'm going to call that same person back again, great executive, and we're going to have another conversation. And I'm going to talk my shit because I love the trajectory of what Rhapsody is on right now. Now I get to
That
fully
person
talk my
knows who
shit
they
for real.
are. That
Oh,
person
they
knows who
already
they
know.
are. Yeah,
They
they
already
heard
know. We're
that.
going to have this conversation. I love this, man.
You described in one of the past episodes, I'm not sure, one of our past episodes, about you described the Roots albums as those projects where you should not skip anything.
Yeah, just
Like
play it.
in Rhapsody's projects are the exact same thing.
100%.
I love that she is still going to go ahead with the concept of an Adam. She had Eve, she's going to do an Adam too. And
Yeah,
she keeps talking about how, the ideas just keep coming, and she wants to put this in, and she's got probably 3 Adams done already, but she wants to
fire.
absolutely curate it like it's supposed to be.
Right.
Rhapsody is one of the best artists that we have ever seen, and most definitely one of the best artists that is rapping today at
Right.
this very day and time. Like in the year of our Lord 2026, and at the end of summer in August. Yes, Rhapsody.
Right.
Thank you for
Thank
this.
you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what's crazy is when I thought about Rhapsody's albums, and this is probably the first time people are going to hear this, but when I think about Rhapsody's albums, there is one word for each one of her albums. One word that describes each one of her albums. Her first album, Layla's Wisdom. The word is aware. Aware. Whether she's aware of the moment that she's engulfed in, or people are aware of her coming on the scene, or her being aware of the wisdom from her grandparents, her parents, and hip hop, her predecessors, everything. Just being aware.
Her being aware that what she's embarking out to do, the career that she was starting,
Right.
is to go over a lot of people's heads.
Exactly.
Her knowing that.
Right. Her second album, Eve, is appreciation. Being appreciative of the path that came before her. That's why all the songs were named after somebody. Nina, Oprah. You know what I mean? It's appreciation for the path that was trailblazed before her. Fire. The third album, Please Don't Cry. Vulnerability. Pure vulnerability. Let me open up. I can't get to where I want to get to unless I open up, unless I become vulnerable to not only my craft, but to myself. Being vulnerable to myself. She mentioned certain things about her sexuality, things that's happening in the industry, going from deal to deal, people not respecting her pen game, people not respecting female artistry, so many elements. Vulnerability. This last album, freedom. Freedom. I'm free now. Whatever y'all throw at me, I got it. Whatever path is ahead of me, I'm ready for it. I'm free to do any and every record I feel. Let's go. That's why she went to Johannesburg. She got that sunlight. She got that sunlight on her skin, even in her imagery, even in her clothing, even in her photo shoots. She's embracing all of that. You don't look at, and I'm not saying that this is true before, but you don't look at Rapsody and you see covered up or sheltered. She's doing whatever she want to do. She's completely free. That skin glowing, the videos is popping, the wardrobe is hitting.
The hair is always
hair is fire. She's showing every element of what a Black woman would be in hairstyle, in earrings, in flavor. It's complete. She's free. So at the end of the day, she's giving us her journey all in full. That's why she is one of the dopest. That's why she's one of the elites. Because not only is she dope creatively, but she decided to give us her world in its entirety from the time she dropped her first album all the way till now.
Yep. And I'll take it a step further. You know, you always got to appreciate these artists who kind of speak to you. You know, right. and God Got an Afro and Gold Hoops spoke to me personally, like on a level in more than a few spots. You know, right. She touches on a few things that I have on my personal slate, and I love her speaking to me in a time when I have these things on my mind, you know, and right. Most definitely that I love we talked about a couple records. She kills that DJ Who Kid. Shout out Who Kid. Who Kid.
Smoked it.
Shout out Who Kid. That fucking record is so dope. She takes it back. She's talking her shit. And
doing her thing.
I couldn't really pinpoint any certain person who she's talking to, but it sounds like she's talking to everybody. She's talking about somebody.
Yeah. She's talking.
But who is it though? Because I couldn't
I'm not. Even if I came up with a name, I still wouldn't say it. But she's talking because it's really meant. When you listen to it, it's meant for everybody.
Yeah,
it's meant for everybody who has a doubt. Right.
That's what I took from it, male or female. Not to do that to Rapsody
for sure.
You know. But yeah, the hook and then it goes into that guys got it. Wait, no, I'm thinking of a different joint. That's not the one that leads into that.
But that record is fire though.
Yeah, that's where she's like better than you. I dress better than you. You. Yeah. Shout out Who Kid. Shout out that record. And the other one I gotta say, it ain't exactly my favorite, but what really drove it home for me was the last record on the album. The Bloodline, the Act 2, Growing Older. It just made me feel like we're Outkast, 13th Floor, Growing Old, and that same thing.
That record, that 13th Floor record. Every time I hear it, I cry. I ain't for the hold you. Every time I hear it.
That's what rap made me want to do. Like when I heard that one, it like we've said on this show, epic of a record. She's talking about everything, and it feels like she took the concept from 50 to 100 all in that one record. It culminates it like it stands alone, most definitely. Like it's really one of those liberation album records. Like again, it stands on its own, but when it hit at the end of the album, I was like, oh, this is why I finished the album, not like I would have loved to finish the album, even if that wasn't the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, which is, God got it.
But it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure that it was there. My thing is like, I agree 100%. And I feel like I said, same way like D'Angelo's Voodoo, it's going to get better to me with time. The more the experiences of myself and the memories of myself collide with me listening to this album. It's going to get better with time. It's going to get better. And then even on top of that, she hasn't even engulfed on doing the live performances. It's going to go to the next level.
Right. She gonna wear that Afro.
Even just the instrumentation, being able to bring the musicians and the people who have put together this album and even feature other musicians, bring that album to, it's gonna go crazy.
What did I just see? She's got a skate jam going on in Glendale.
She got a skate in Glendale. I might have to try to make that, man. I gotta try to make that, yo.
Ain't far from there, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta try to make that because that's gonna be fun. I mean, playing her album while everybody's skating to have a good time, and she's gonna be fly as ever, of course. You know what I'm saying? You already know how that go. You know, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy.
What a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Man, thank you.
Check out both those projects that we just talked about, y'all. The documentary part 3 by The Game. God Got an Afro, and Go Hoops by our girl Rapsody. Thank both of y'all for blessing us with these projects. With much success to them. Hopefully, you know, when the work seasons come around or whatever, you know, that they're well received.
Right, 100%. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. Like I said, Rapsody getting another Grammy. I don't care. Nobody said. It's happening. For this album, it's happening. I'm
gonna be playing this album for a while.
For sure.
No matter what she wins, she's won me again with this one.
100%.
Things fall apart.
Things fall apart, man. You already know. Council Poly Rob.
Thank y'all for watching.
Yes, sir. Local astronauts, man. That's all you need to hear. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to hear. I am Frank 5D, writer, photographer, all that fly shit people adore. Positive energy activates. Constant elevation, y'all. Peace.